Hi everybody, it's Anna here with Unearthed Arcana. Oh my god, it's been so long. I've missed all of you. I've missed making Skyrim videos. We are back today with a new Skyrim Wildlander mod pack Let's Play adventure. This time starting a brand new run that I'm super excited about, both to record and play and show off to all of you. We're going to be going right from character creation into the game and going through the full process of starting a run, going through our playthrough rules, what kind of character we're going to build. Excited to show this off because I feel like there's definitely some newer players to the Wildlander community that would benefit from seeing a full playthrough. For those of you who don't know Wildlander, this is one of those total immersion overhaul mod packs. You can download it via the Wabbajack tool. It makes the game harder, combat-wise. It adds survival mechanics, role-playing mechanics, makes the game more immersive, makes it look and sound better. Really encourage you to check it out on the Discord or the subreddit. Read the wiki as well. Check out the actual Wildlander website. This is kind of the definitive way for me to play Skyrim. I feel like this is the game that I wanted Bethesda to have released back in 2011. This video series is going to follow the exploits of a Dunmer, two-handed heavy armor character who's also a spellblade, so mixing melee combat with magic. And it's going to be a good playthrough both for Wildlander veterans who are just looking to hone their playstyle and learn some tips and tricks, but also for Wildlander newbies who are just trying to learn the game for the first time and learn the basic mechanics. If you want to skip all the character creation stuff, I'll put some sections in the video so you can skip that and go right to the gameplay. But let's get started here by making a new game and actually building our character from the very beginning. I feel like there's a lot of decisions that go into character creation. I already have a character concept for my Dunmer lady that I want to play. So I'm just going to realize that concept today with our viewers. We're gonna go through the welcome screens here and finalize setup. So interestingly, the game is actually loaded right now. Like our character is in like an empty room or something behind this black screen, and Wildlander is just pre-configuring all the mods in the mod configuration menu. You used to have to do this manually in earlier builds of Wildlander back in the old RIM LE version of Skyrim. When you had to play Ultimate Skyrim, which was the name of the mod pack back then. It took you like, I don't know, 30 minutes plus to configure all the mods. I kind of got that time down to 15 minutes over time because I just played so much, but way better now that it automatically configures all the mods. So now that those are configured, we can kind of load into the race menu and look at our character here. So when you're picking a race in Wildlander, I really recommend you check out the Wildlander wiki because there are some different stats between the different races that don't actually show up here. For instance, like Bretons, for example. I really like Bretons. They're a really fun race to play. But their power attacks cost an additional cost 110% of the stamina of other races. They also regenerate stamina lower, and they have a lower carry weight. None of that's reflected in the description right here, whereas something like an orc or a redguard, their power attacks only cost like 60% of the normal stamina, and they regenerate stamina faster. They have a higher starting HP and a higher starting carry weight. So anyway, check out the wiki just to actually see all the differences between the races, but we're definitely going to do a Dark Elf. I really like Dark Elves. I think they have a really good balance between offensive and defensive capabilities, and they're really well suited for the style of Wildlander that I play, which is Permadeath, which is that if my character dies, that's the end of the run, and I won't reload another run. You definitely don't have to play Wildlander that way, but I think that's the most fun way for me to play. And Dunmer are a great race that actually allows us to survive those runs and get into the late game. In addition to the stuff listed here, so like they block 2/3 of fire damage, they can protect them from physical damage immunity. They start off with a base 100 each in stamina, health, and magicka, so very well rounded. They can also do sneaking and alchemy without perks in either of those, which is really nice in the early game because typically in Wildlander, if you don't assign a perk to something, you're not going to be able to do it at all, or it's going to have significant penalties. So Dunmer can sneak and brew potions without a perk, which is really nice in the early game where we're very tight on perks. As far as our presets go and stuff like that, I encourage you to kind of like play around with characters and like look at different options. I kind of like had an idea that I wanted this lady to be like, using this as kind of her base model and like maybe be a little bit heavier because she's a heavy armor, two-handed warrior and not like a super skinny thief type. I also like giving my characters, particularly Dunmer, little tattoos, and I like these little eye chevrons, so I tend to add those when I'm building a character. I tend not to mess around a lot with a lot of these settings, though. I mostly keep them as is. For eyes, I tend to go with the darker red eyes on Dunmer, but the bright red eyes are cool too. I think I'm gonna go with the darker ones for this character. Then for hair, there's kind of an overwhelming number of hairstyles in Wildlander. Like, look at all this shit. There's like literally hundreds of hairstyles. I generally like the vanilla hairstyles because they look a little dirtier, like a little bit more worn. Whereas like look at this hair. This is gorgeous. Like, I feel like in order for my hair to look like this in the real world, I would have to be going to a stylist every single day using like lots of product. That just doesn't really fit the characters that I play. I feel like my characters tend to be a little grittier. I did find a hairstyle, though, a long time ago that I really like for my characters, particularly Dunmer, which is like right around 180. If you look in the right corner, too, you'll see like the name of the hairstyle. Like, this is called Desperate Elf. Oh my god, what a weird name for a hairstyle. The one that I like a lot is called Diesel Elf, which is this really awesome, like, rad hairstyle where you get, like, the shaved sides and back and then, like, the ponytail there. And I just tend to go with kind of, like, the ordinary Dunmer darker color like this. So anyway, that's kind of what our character is going to look like. I love this hairstyle. I feel like this is a really great, like, butch dyke hairstyle in honor of Pride Month. So it's going to be perfect for our character. And then as far as our character's name goes, and before I do that, actually, I mean, you can play around with all these other things as well, but I tend not to. I tend to just leave this as is. Sometimes I remove my character's makeup as well, just because, like, I don't know, like, do we really need, like, green tinted eyeliner for a character who's, like, a warrior and an adventurer? Like, I don't know. Maybe let's get rid of some of that makeup. I feel like our character's not putting on makeup every single day. Like, if I can't do that in real life, I can't imagine our, like, warrior spellblade lady is going to be able to do that as well. Okay, this looks good enough, though. Then as far as name goes, the name I've picked out for this character is Taniesi. I think I'm spelling it right, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Taniesi was the name of a Dunmer slaver in the Morrowind game, and you fought and kill her in the early game, but I kind of like the homage to this character being like kind of a brutish Dunmer criminal type. Kind of like one of the earlier runs that I filmed a long time ago, the Emere runs. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to resume those because I broke the save because I changed some of the mods around. But I feel like Taniesi, aka Tani for short, is going to be a spiritual successor to Emere. She's going to be kind of like a thug, goonish Dunmer who like has aspirations to like revive the old Kamana Tong crime syndicate or something. Anyway, we'll kind of see where her story takes her. You can choose a background. When you choose a background, it gives you an automatic plus 15 in each of the listed skills. I almost always do a custom background, though, and for this particular character, our heavy armor spellblade, I have some skills already picked out. Definitely want to start with heavy armor, because we really need heavy armor to hit heavy armor 20 as soon as possible. That's when we unlock Relentless Onslaught, which allows us to sprint in heavy armor without a huge stamina penalty. So I always grab heavy armor on this style of character. And then I also always grab two-handed as well, just so that we're maximizing our damage. I've gone back and forth on smithing. On the one hand, I think smithing is kind of a dead perk because you can pay smiths around Skyrim to craft and hone equipment for you. On the other hand, because I'm filming this run and want to keep things moving, I do want to give my character a perk in smithing, so that way she can do some basic smithing of her basic tier 1 equipment. And then as she levels up and I buy more fancy equipment and have, like ebony armor, dwarven armor, or something like that, I'll just pay the smiths to do that. So I think the perk in smithing is just more of a convenience thing, but I actually don't recommend this for your run. I think I would pick something else if you were playing on your own and time wasn't a factor. So those are kind of our warrior skills. We have heavy armor, two-handed, and smithing. Then let's go to the magic skills. So the two areas that I'm going to grab here, I'm going to grab alteration. Alteration gives us some protective magic and also some late game paralysis spells, which is fun. But the real reason we're getting alteration is because this gives us an innate magic resistance starting at level 25 and then capping out at 30% at level 70 at alteration level 75. And that's just so essential for surviving in Wildlander, particularly in a permadeath playthrough. There's also some like super late endgame alteration perks that increase your survivability against magic effects even more, but alteration I think is really indispensable for this kind of character. Then for our second magic skill, we're going to grab restoration. So I used to get restoration a lot on light armored characters, but I actually don't really like it on light armored characters because I feel like with my light armored characters, I'll just pop a potion and I'm fine. And then anything that's big enough to really deal a lot of damage will probably just kill you outright. But on heavy armor character, restoration is really powerful because most of the time you don't die in one hit. You tend to take like, even on big hits, like 50% of your health and damage, and that's where it's really nice to be able to quickly disengage, top off, and then immediately get back in the fight. Whereas with light armor, you know, if you miss a block, you're probably dead anyway. Plus restoration has some other nice perks, and like, I don't know, it's still good for a light armored character, but I really like it more on heavy armored characters, so I always grab this. Finally, for my last skill, we'll go to the stealth skills. If you didn't get smithing, for convenience and quality of life, I would grab alchemy here, which is probably what I should be getting, but just for the sake of keeping this run, especially the first few episodes moving along, I'm grabbing smithing. I am going to grab lockpicking though. The reason I grab lockpicking is because with one perk in lockpicking, you can unlock novice, apprentice, and adept level locks, which opens up a whole lot of extra loot and opens up a huge pool of experience points that otherwise you'd be missing out on. If you don't get lockpicking, you can bash open many but not all chests and doors depending on your base stats, and then you can buy scrolls of knock from merchants to open up adept and higher, really adept and expert level locks. But in the early game, that's a big drain on money, and it also like ends up being very slow. And I think just for like keeping the run moving and stuff like that, lockpicking works out really well. I also just enjoy lockpicking. I think it's just like a fun little mini game to play with. I'm also really bad at it, which kind of leads to some unintentional comedy in the recording. So I'm gonna grab lockpicking. Okay, so we have our custom background of heavy armor, two-handed, smithing, alteration, restoration, and lockpicking. And like I said, if you were playing this character on your own, I would not get smithing. I would just rely on the smiths doing it for you, and I would grab alchemy instead. Okay, so we hit the back button, then we hit finish, and that finalizes our background. Let's look at our birth signs here. So I think there's lots of like philosophies about the best way to pick a birth sign. I think for a Spellblade, a lot of people go with the mage. I don't think there's anything wrong with the mage. I think the mage is probably like the second best option, or maybe like very close to the best option here. Gives you extra magicka pool. It also means that you can focus on your magicka without draining with it while you're running. Otherwise, it regenerates a lot slower. The reason I don't get the mage though is because I tend to die in the early game if I die at all on a permadeath run, because I don't have enough stamina, and my character is running out of stamina and not able to run and maneuver and block things and deal damage. Like if stamina drops as a warrior, you're just going to die really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to grab the mage, and I'm instead going to grab the steed. The steed solves all of your early game stamina problems. It means that you get bonus 100 stamina right away, and then later into the mid game you can transition from the steed stone to the lord stone, which gives you a bunch of magic and damage resistance as well. I prioritize survivability in permadeath runs just because most of the time if you're running into problems in a permadeath run, it's probably because you're dying. It's not because like you can't cast, you know, mage armor or something. It's because like an enemy is killing you. So anyway, I do the steed, then I grab the lord, and then as I transition into the late game when I don't really have to worry about survivability as much because my gear is really good, then I just switch to warrior. So we're going to go steed for this run, but you definitely could go with mage for a spellblade. You'd be perfectly functional going with mage. And then as far as our starts go, there's lots of different starts you can do. I love the Helgen border start, and that's the start I'm going to showcase today. But an equally viable start for a heavy armor spellblade would be the Riften border, because it gets you right to Riften. You get a bunch of gear along the way. There's also the ability to get a good greatsword right when you start the game if you do the Riften border crossing start. And then the Falkwraith border is also really solid because like right when you start you can make a detour to a little cave and grab a whole bunch of equipment and smithing supplies. Then there's some bears you can kill and butcher, so this is also a really good start. Windhelm border is a rough start. There's just like lots of really scary enemies right by the border and it's freezing outside, so like this is a hard start right here. So I'm gonna do the Helgen border. I think that's my favorite start for this style of character. That the two-handed heavy armor spellblade that I play also really requires the companion's quest line in order to be successful, and the Helgen border sets us up for that. And then I always do Dragonborn. You can play a non-Dragonborn character. I think that's totally legitimate, particularly if you're not gonna get to the point where you're killing dragons. But this build definitely will be killing dragons. It's more than capable of fighting dragons and doing basically all of the late and end game content. The only content I haven't been able to do with this build yet is the true end game content of like Ebony Warrior, Alduin, and Mirak. Those are the ones I haven't been able to do. But all that late game content like dragons, dragon priests, stuff like that has not been an issue. Okay, and then I always use standard difficulty because I just want the game to be hard and immersive. Okay, so that's it for the character setup. Let's spawn into the world and kind of see what starting items we have. We'll assign our perks. I'm also going to do some small configurations to our mod configuration menu. And then after that, I'm going to save the game, restart the game, reload the game, and then actually get to playing. I just find that if you restart the game after you make a new character, it kind of like resets a few scripts and things and like fixes some merchant issues that you might have. Okay, so here's Taniesi. She started off on the Helgen border here. The first thing I always like to do when I'm playing a heavy armor character is I immediately go to my skills menu and hop over to heavy armor. You'll notice my stamina is draining right now every second. And that's because I don't have this conditioning perk. So I'm just going to grab this perk right away so that way my stamina is not at 0 and it's time to move out. Alright, let's go to mod configuration menu. Most of these are pre-configured and I tend not to change a lot of them. I have a mod added called Dismembering Framework though, which I absolutely love. That's kind of the gore mod that I've added. But it has this really annoying time slowdown effect that like adds a matrix effect when you kill people. I just disable that because it's very disorienting in the middle of a fight. Enhanced Blood comes standard with Wildlander, but I tend to reinstall it as part of my own run, and then I just tweak the settings a little bit, both on install and then on the MCM side of things. So I enable it, I increase the max amount, I increase the max size, I keep the minimum size around like 0.17, and then I put the duration at around 12 seconds. And this is just like a little bit gorier, like blood on the screen kind of stuff. And the rest of this I just kind of keep as is. And then for Frostfall, 0.7 and Death. These are kind of my two settings I prefer for permadeath. I think the default is like 0.4, 0.5. It says it's 1.0 here. Like, I wonder if it's actually 1.0 and I've just totally forgotten that. Maybe it's 1.0 and I just don't remember it. Anyway, I like 0.7 because it's enough that you have to worry about freezing to death, but not so crazy that you're constantly building fires. Like, that's really annoying to do. And then obviously if we weren't managing our exposure properly, we would die. I I do kind of like the rescue option. It does make for a much more narrative playthrough, but I feel like on a permadeath recorded playthrough that I just want to do the death option. Then some people recommend that you pause exposure during combat. I like this because I feel like most of the time when you're wandering around Skyrim, there's some time dilation that's occurring because like there's a time scale. But combat happens in roughly real time, and like even if I have a 5-minute combat, my character is not going to freeze to death in 5 minutes. Even if 5 minutes of in-game combat could be like an hour of you know, time elapsing in the game. So I always just make sure this is enabled. And then for holidays, my character has a steed birthstone, which means her birthday is going to be in June, so I just modify that. And then for the day, I just go to get random %, which is just a command I can type in the console. And then I just do that until I find a number that's within June. So June 30th is what her birthday is going to be. Then last two things I adjust. I go to the Requiem menu, go to skills and perks, and I make smithing books mandatory again. I like when smithing books are mandatory. I think it adds a lot more like excitement when you find those books, even though Tani is probably not going to do a lot of smithing. And then for atmosphere, I increase the time scale to 1 to 20 and enable slower horses. And what this does is it just means that like more time elapses as I travel around the map, which makes the world feel bigger because like by the time I get from Riverwood to Whiterun, you know, like 4 or 5 hours have passed instead of like an hour. Then the last thing is I'll go to spell research here, and I'm just going to enable a hotkey for spell research just for the sake of convenience. I just use the 0 hotkey. Spell research is a mod that comes added with Wildlander, and it's a way to level up not only your skills but also to learn new spells and unlock new abilities. It's a really cool mod, and we'll use it a little bit in this run, but not going to be too involved with it in the early game. Okay, so that's it for our mod menus. Let's go back to skills here. And actually, what I'm going to do really quickly while I get my skills in order, because I'm going to talk about these, I'm going to quickly lower the exposure to 0, so that way as I talk through these skills, my character is not accumulating exposure. I have unpaused menus right now, which is another thing I do in my runs. Like even though the menu's open, my character can still move around. I like unpaused menus. That's courtesy of the Skyrim Souls mod, which is a mod that I've added. Unpaused menus make the game harder and make combat more dynamic. They're super, super fun. I really enjoy them. Unfortunately, though, it means that my character can freeze to death while I'm narrating things. Okay, so going to skills. I am not yet going to assign a point to smithing. I'm going to kind of wait and see what happens in the early game, but I am going to assign 2 points to two-handed. I really recommend that in the early game you get 2 points right away in two-handed. Otherwise, your greatsword hits won't kill wolves in one hit, and your power attacks won't kill bandits in one hit, and that's super problematic if you're going to fight anything in the early game. Let's definitely grab lock picking because there's some chests we're going to be picking in the early game before we hit level 2. Then I'm also going to grab restoration, just 1 perk in restoration, and pick the healing aura spells. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this last perk here and see what happens in the first 5 minutes of this run. And depending on what happens, I might grab smithing or I might grab alteration. We'll really depends on what happens when we go fight some bandits like right away and what loot they drop. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do now that I have all those, I'm just going to hotkey my spells. I'm going to make sure Ancestor Guardian is equipped. That's the Dunmer invincibility option. It doesn't actually make you fully invincible. Like I've had this on and been hit by a giant. The giants deal like, I don't know, like 3,000 damage when they hit you with a club. And I remember my character had a little bit of damage left over, so this isn't full invulnerability, but it's pretty close. Then I'm also going to hotkey her greatsword, and I'm going to hotkey her health potion. And I think everything else I'm going to leave as is. I'm not going to use apple cabbage stew just yet. This is a stamina soup that we start the game with. It's really good to start the game with this because it offsets the natural stamina drain of running. So you'll notice that as my character's running, if you look in the lower right corner, You'll see that the stamina is gradually draining just because she's jogging. Anyway, apple cabbage stew offsets that, but it only lasts for 600 seconds, so I don't want to use it right away. And then in my favorites menu right here, I'm going to hotkey my primary weapon to hotkey number 1. My healing potion to hotkey number 8 is kind of a panic option. And then I'm going to cast Healing Aura. Because we're playing a Spellblade, and we don't have enough perks in the heavy armor skill tree, our Healing Aura is going to cost us a crazy 336 magicka, which obviously we can't cast. The reason for that is because heavy armor, the heavy armor perk, or rather the heavy armor skill tree, has a whole branch of it on the left side that allows you to cast spells without a penalty, or at least like a significantly reduced penalty, based off of the level of the spells. So combat casting affects novice and apprentice, combat trance is adept, combat meditation is expert, and then battle mage is master spells, plus there's a little bit of an extra bonus there. So until we have combat casting, we're not going to be able to cast spells with heavy armor on, which means we're going to have to like take off our armor, just like temporarily get naked in the middle of this area. Okay, so now that Healing Aura is applied and all my hotkeys are good to go, I feel like I'm in a good spot to save the game, quit, reload, and then I'll join everybody again and we'll actually kick off the gameplay. So for some folks, they'll be tuning in for the first time, having skipped all the character creation stuff, and for everybody else, you just got a chance to see what that looks like. So I'm going to quit the game, and then I will be right back and reload after we've reset some of the scripts and merchant inventories, and I will see you all in a second. So hang tight, I will be right back. We are back. Let's quickly get Frostfall re-enabled. Make sure our character gets the full freezing to death experience. Can't be playing Wildlander if we're not freezing to death. Let's head out here. So I think a lot of people do the Helgen border crossing start because it's just like a very natural start for the game and it gets you close to Whiterun and everything. If you do this border crossing start, I don't encourage you to check out this ruined tower here, or maybe I do. Maybe not in a permadeath run though. If you want to check that out in a not permadeath run, feel free. But otherwise, maybe avoid that tower. I feel like it's one of those little Skyrim Wildlander surprises that you get right away, but we're not gonna subject our poor character Taniesi to the joys of the ruined tower. Lots of people turn left here and they continue along the stone path. We're actually gonna hang right over this way and head over towards Southfringe Sanctum, which is a little bandit warlock dungeon. It's more of a early game, like a late early game, early mid-game dungeon. We're going to have an opportunity to pick off some bandits that are, one's going to be inside and one of them's going to be guarding the entrance. Also, one thing that I think I forgot to mention, kind of a really essential part of my playthroughs, is I tend to play with no heads-up display, so no HUD. So even though, like, my sword is out here, there's no health bars showing, there's no crosshairs. That just makes for a much more exciting, immersive, and dynamic experience for me, particularly with unpaused menus and permadeath. Those are the pillars of a fun Wildlander run for me. Anyway, we can see that there's this guy right here who's like hunched over the tables, like making some potions, just playing with his chemistry kit right now, which is always really stupid to me because, like, bro, you need to be watching this path. Like, this is why you're out here, is presumably to guard the entrance. I don't know, maybe he's just like really bad at alchemy and his fellow warlocks have banished him outside and they're like, dude, you keep like blowing things up inside. You need to go outside and do your experiments. Anyway, not going to be a problem for them much longer because we're going to drop down from this little ridge up here and chop this guy's head off. Kind of get the run started with a little bit of violence. You can sneak along this ridge line here as a Dunmer because we have a point in sneak and we're not going to get detected. I feel like other races can probably do it too. I think like we're enough out of the sight line where he's not going to spot us or hear us, but as a Dunmer, you definitely can do it because of your sneak perk. We're just going to drop down here and just give him a quick 1 slash into a power attack combo, which will kill him really quickly. So 1 slash and power attack. Alright, no dismemberment sadly, but we did get our first kill of the game. Ooh, this is a fantastic bunch of armor items right here. Okay, so the reason this is so good is because we can, in the breakdown menu, break down his armor pieces into specific crafting components, and then we can use those to make a backpack with our smithing perk. So if we break down his hide boots into leather strips, then we'll break down his furred robes into a fur plate, or rather 2 furred plates, and then we'll break down his helmet and his bracers also into fur plates. Then what happens is if we go to our crafting menu, we'll be able to make a backpack. But to do that, we're going to have to grab that pointed smithing. Oh, there's something weird going on here with the like ambient lighting, because like these perks should be glowing and like the glowing thing is not happening, so I think I'll probably reload the game and fix that, but I'll clear out the Southfringe Sanctum before I do that. Anyway, let's grab the perk in crafting. Then let's hit the right shift button, open up our crafting submenu, and then go to Survivalist Toolkit. And then what I'll do is I'll break down one of those fur plates and rip it into some hide laces. And now we open up a whole bunch of options here, including a fur backpack, which I will craft right now. So one of the advantages of starting the game with smithing is we get a fur backpack right away, as long as this guy has spare furs on him. If we don't get the furs on this guy, we could get it from the guy inside as well. Okay, but let's sneak inside now that our character has a backpack. I'm just going to unequip my metal armor and just switch to traveler's clothing, so that way this bandit sentry who's inside here won't hear me as I sneak in. One of the themes of my heavy armor 2-handed spellblade runs, particularly when I play a Dunmer character, is I really like to sneak into position before I initiate on enemies, especially against mages. Like, I don't want bandit warlock mages to blast me with magic as I come around this corner, like tromping down the hall. Let's wait here though, and we'll listen for the footfall of the bandit warlock, and then we'll jump the bandit warlock once he gets into position here. You can like vaguely hear the footsteps. Okay, there they are. Here they are. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay, bandit's right there. Let's just come around the corner and we'll do a double chop.
What was that?
1 chop, 2 chops. Oh, we got the dismemberment too. Blood is everywhere. Look at that arm. Oh, that's super gross. I love the dismembering mod. It's so fun. Alright, anyway, we managed to jump this lady, and she had some nice kind of potions on her that we'll snag right there. I'll grab these as well. I feel like, yeah, the boiled cuirass breaks down into leather. And then I can break down the leather strips out of the leather boots. Then I'll break down her fur hat into a fur plate. And then with that, what I can do is I can quickly make 2 water skins. I don't quite have enough to make a bedroll. Like, if I get another thing of fur, then I'll be able to make a bedroll. And then I'll kind of have all of my, like, basic survival gear confirmed for the early game. And then after we kill this lady, let's come over here and just check out this chest. This sometimes has some good items, but nothing super great here, like a basic conjuration spell, like some random gold. Like, we'll definitely, you know, learn that, but nothing super fantastic. And then Southfringe Sanctum itself, if you actually wanted to fight the warlocks in Southfringe Sanctum, you could go through this gate right here, which has a frost rune on it, but in order to do that, you would need to summon something or blast this with destruction magic in order to trigger the rune, because that rune will deal like 250 damage and kill us instantly if we get close to it. So as tempting as it is to clear out Southfringe Sanctum at level 1, we just aren't able to get past this rune, so we're not going to bother. Then coming back to here, let's just do a quick inventory check. So we got all of our armor still equipped. We did get some, like, an extra healing potion here, plus we have a new health damaging potion. So I'm going to hotkey that. That could be valuable for us. No other updates. Like, we have some alchemy ingredients as well here, but we're not really able to use those just yet because I don't think these combine with any other ingredients here to actually make a viable potion. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quickly... okay, I'm gonna save the game. And then I'm going to quickly quit the game and restart. And the reason I'm going to do that is because these are not lighting up correctly, and you can see there's this like really weird little like diamond around here, so there's something wrong with the lighting right now. But if I quit the game and restart, that should fix it. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I will be right back after I restart the game, so hang tight for a second. Okay, we are back. Let's quickly just make sure the lighting issue got fixed. Okay, it looks like it got resolved. That weird diamond isn't happening around the perks. If that ever happens in your run, you can just restart, or I think if you reload an earlier save where the lighting wasn't an issue, then that'll fix the lighting in subsequent saves as well. Anyway, I have no idea how the Skyrim lighting system works. I just pretend to understand it. I feel like that's true of most people. Before we head out of Southfringe Sanctum, though, let me reapply my healing aura, because I think that's about to wear off. And this is a safe place to do this. Okay, now let's head out of Southfringe and let's go on over to our next sort of port of call on our Helgen border crossing start. I feel like Southfringe Sanctum is one of those like gems that people don't realize you can do at a really early level, or at least like picking off those 2 bandits right away. And it's just so awesome with the smithing start, because then you just get this backpack right off the beginning of the game, and then you can loot a little bit more, and then you'll have a little bit more gold when you get to town. So it's just a really nice way to start the game off. You just gotta be really careful with these bandit warlocks. I also realized I didn't show you where this was on the map. So that's the main road in from Helgen, from the Helgen border crossing, and this is Southfringe Sanctum. And if we open this dead dude, Gladrune Comoran, God, what a name. Imagine being called Gladrune. Anyway, Gladrune is level 35 with a base HP of 190, base magicka of 350, and if we look at his spells, he has like Ice Storm and fucking Frost Cloak. Anyway, this is not someone we want to fight head on, but like we can definitely pick off him and his friend before we actually like get out of this area. This is also a caution against actually trying to clear out Southfringe Sanctum at level 1, especially in a permadeath run, because if these guys just happen to choose to cast Frost Cloak as their first spell, they're definitely going to kill you. Sometimes they're stupid and they cast Mage Armor instead, and then you'll be fine, but if they cast Frost Cloak, you're in really big trouble. Anyway, let's leave Gladrune and his buddies behind and head on over to our last little point of note near Southfringe Sanctum before we continue on our Helgen border crossing start. There is a chest that's over here by this tree you can see in the distance. It's one of those unmarked hand-placed treasure chests, and it's got some treasure in there, like nothing really usable from a mechanical perspective, but now that we have our backpack, we can definitely grab all this stuff and loot it and then use it all a little bit later. And then it also has a conjuration skill book right here, which we'll take. Funny little environmental detail with like the axe and the beheaded skeleton, and this is supposed to be embedded in the tree there, but I think it fell out. Okay, heading out of Southfringe Sanctum, and on the map, this is where the little unmarked chest is just north of Southfringe Sanctum. Let's head down to Fort Neugrad. So Fort Neugrad is a bandit fort that in the vanilla game is where the Dragonborn gets held overnight along with Ulfric Stormcloak after getting arrested. And then the Imperials try to cross the border, they can't do it, so then they have to reroute to Helgen. Shortly after the beginning of the Skyrim vanilla game, the bandits invade the fort and take it over, so all the people you hear in there is just sort of like bandit activity. We're going to sneak up and kind of assess the enemy situation before moving in to see if we can actually clear this out at level 1. I have a mod installed called More Spawns Randomize, which does exactly what the very uncreative but also very straightforward title suggests, which just randomizes the spawns. So you can see there's a bandit, his head is like peeking out right there, so we're just going to hang out for a second, we don't want him to spot us. More spawns randomized though means that areas that typically have a set number of enemies, like Fort Neugrad normally only has like 4, maybe 5 bandits total, can sometimes have a random number of enemies spawn instead. And if that happens and we get too many enemies that spawns, this becomes a much more difficult fight. God, I really need this guy to move because my character is going to get cold standing out here. Okay, now I finally hear his footsteps. He's finally moving. Maybe not. He might have spotted me. I'm not actually sure. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we sneak closer if he notices I'm here. I don't think he notices me. I don't think he knows I'm here. Ooh, there's like 2 guys in the courtyard here. That's a little scary. I don't think I see a staff on them though. So the big concern is if one of those guys in the middle of the courtyard has a staff on them, because if they have a staff, then they're going to be a bandit mage with a staff, and that's really scary because the staff could easily be the kind of spell that kills us in one zap. Oh shit, they saw us. Alright, well, no time to think. We're just gonna have to... Oh my god, there's a fuck ton of enemies in here. Jesus Christ, there's 2 fucking archers. Oh, this is super bad. Okay, this is gonna be a big fight. Alright, let's get our armor back on. Typically, I would not change armor in the middle of a fight. But in this case, we kind of like didn't really have much of a choice. Like, these guys just came in hot. Oh my god, that's a fuck ton of enemies. How am I gonna fight all these guys?
Time for you to die.
Okay, well, this is not good. Let's see if we can get one of these people to overextend with a power attack, and then we'll see if we can nick them. Oh, Jesus, this guy's got a fucking spirit wolf again. I think by slashing that spirit wolf once... Ooh, this is good. This guy kind of went down here, and now we can ambush him and maybe take this guy out with a quick bash. Ooh, that's good. That's a nice little overextension on the power attack. That's a nice overextension too. Okay, so that guy's running away and that person's running away as well. Got a nice little bash there. Okay, we killed him. Jesus, there's another fucking person coming. God, this is fucking crazy. Okay, so that guy's dead. Oh, jeez, we're like caught in between these 2 people. This is super, super bad right here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like really caught out here and I'm running out of stamina. I do not want to get cornered here. That would be a death sentence. So we're gonna have to bail out here. Ow. Fucking hell. And now this fucking archer is trying to shoot me. Okay, so let's get her to the side of this archer. Oh my god, I missed that slash. Ooh, okay. Dodged that. Killed her. And now I think we're in better shape here. Jesus, this fight's really fucking hard. I have 1 window to kill this guy. Okay, so we killed that guy before his reinforcements arrived. Jesus, there's still more of them coming. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut down here and see if we can overextend the light armored person. God, she's still not fucking dead though. As long as no more archers come this way, I think we'll be okay. We really need like one of these people to overextend. Okay, that's what we wanted. We're too far away to take advantage of it though. This guy with the shield is the biggest problem. Like, that's someone that's gonna be hard for us to kill. Okay, so we should be able to kill her, but to kill her, I'm actually going to grab those purple mountain flowers, because at this point in time, every little bit of stamina helps, and those will give me a little bit of stamina. Okay, so we finished her off. We should be able to finish this guy off too. Okay, so that guy's running away. I think this guy will stay running away. Like, I don't think this guy's going to come back. So now what we're going to do with this last guy here is we're just going to hop down here and then switch to walking for a second, and we're going to eat another purple mountain flower because we really just have a stamina problem right now. Alright, buddy, let's fucking go. You and me. Killed like 5 of your friends. Just you and me now. So far, we're still good on potions too. The only potion we used was one of our restore health potions. See if we can maybe sneak a bash on this guy and then we'll be able to kill him with a poison. I'm gonna use my poison right now. So there's our bash and there's our hit. Oh, okay, good. Now he's running away. Woo! Okay, that guy's dead. And now we should be able to finish off this lady right here. Just gotta be a little careful that as we get close to her, no one like comes around the corner and shoots us with a bow. Okay, I think we're safe. Okay, so that guy's dead too. Woo! Okay, I think that's everybody. No, I'm still in combat. Like, I can still see the red border around the screen. Okay, let's just be careful here then. I'm just gonna like run over here, and I think one of these people had a great sword. Oh no, she had a steel battle axe. I'm gonna grab the steel battle axe. It does a little bit more damage than my great sword, and Honestly, damage is really valuable at this early game phase. Okay, so those guys are dead. Who is still alive here? I just gotta be a little careful. I'm actually gonna sneak back into this area so that way if someone is on the hunt for me, they won't see me right away. Ooh, this is super scary. I'm not sure who's after me. I want to upgrade my armor too, and like swap it out for some of the armor on these dead guys, but I don't want to do that until I've resolved who's like still in combat with me. It could just be someone who's run away and like they're hiding somewhere, like I might have lost track of someone in that fight. But it also could be an actual enemy who's out there with an actual weapon trying to kill me. Okay, let's go look in here. Don't see anyone here. Let's see if there was anyone I missed that's hiding in this area. Oh, this dude's dead right there. God, there were a fuck ton of bandits. I think there were like 6 or 7 bandits that I had to kill. This is definitely a lot more activity than I thought there would be. Okay, looks like we're out of combat. Whew! Okay, that was really scary. What a scary initial fight. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna quickly start swapping out armor. I'll also swap out the greatsword because that's gonna be a lot worse than our steel battle axe. So I'm gonna swap out some armor and I'm gonna start upgrading my equipment kind of slowly but surely based off of the people we've killed. I'm still really worried that someone's gonna come around the corner and attack me, but I think I'm okay. We'll just kind of see like what we settle on in terms of armor. I could probably like afford to grab a little bit more armor than I have right now and just like carry it around a little bit more, but I'm just so worried about someone attacking me that I kind of like don't want to keep my back facing this way longer than I have to. Okay, we'll check these last 2 people out and then after that we'll head inside. What's my temperature like? Okay, so my character's still comfortable too, so that's positive. Woo! Really scary first fight though. This is a great example of like the more spawns randomized mod just being like kind of brutal and unforgiving. Like that initial fight right there. Instead of having just like 4 or 5 enemies, there were 4 here. There was the Argonian. No, there's this guy here, that's 5. Then there were 2 more in there. So that was 7 enemies total that we had to negotiate at level 1. The nice thing is that we didn't actually have to use Ancestor Guardian, so we still have that just in case we need to use that a little bit later as a panic button. And then I always check out these axes and hammers here. Sometimes these spawn at higher levels. Like this is often an iron axe and looks like it's a steel axe now, but it won't be any better than our current steel axe, so we'll just use that. What I'll also do right now, like in between the fights, because we'll probably have to fight 1 more person, is I'm just going to quickly toss my healing aura back on. Oh my god, or I'm just going to fucking fall down because I'm not paying attention. It's really sad. Okay, so our armor's back on. As far as our armor goes, god, this is really shitty armor. I honestly should probably not be using this armor. It has good armor rating, but it doesn't have any special damage resistances in my active effects menu. Which is generally worse than armor that has damage resistances, so I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. I think it's probably fine for now, but I'm a little skeptical. I don't really see anyone around here. I don't know where the other enemy is. Oh shit. Oh, she's down there. Oh, she still doesn't notice where we are, though. Let's see if we can sneak around here and get her. Ah, I love how Dunmer can sneak with heavy armor. It's so fun. Like, she knows we're here, but doesn't know exactly where we are.
Hello? Who's there?
Okay, so we're just gonna run down from here and just drop down and kill her. What's up, lady? Oh, I love it. Ah, sneaking to kill these people with heavy armor is so fun. Okay, that was a super fun fight right there, even if it was like a little hectic at times. Definitely was like super stressful. It's a lot more stressful than I wanted it to be. What's our character's temperature? So our character is cold right now, so I gotta get inside. But before my character becomes very cold, I do just want to quickly pick the lock on this chest. And then we'll head into Fort Neugrad and continue to clear out the fort. For future reference, I do not recommend on your own Dead is Dead runs that you clear out Fort Neugrad at level 1. It's just like probably a bad idea. But I kind of wanted to start this episode with a bang, so I took the risk and it paid off. The scariest moment during that fight was when we were leaving the tower, because we realized there was just like we just couldn't stay in that tower. Oh my god, I can't fucking jump onto this cart. Grab that lantern too. As we were leaving the tower, we kind of got caught by the door there, and then someone hit us with a power attack with an iron sword. That almost killed us, but we were able to kind of reposition and stay safe. Okay, but heading into the Fort Neugrad prison now, I'm going to swap out of all of my heavy armor, switch to light armor, and then sneak inside here to actually fight the enemies who are in the prison. I find that the prison is a little bit less hectic and crazy than the courtyard, but if things go badly, we still have Ancestor Guardian. God, I hear at least 3 people in here. There might even be 4. That does not bode well. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to hang out by the fireplace for a second until our character is no longer cold and gets back to warm exposure. Because once she's warm, she'll have a small bonus to stamina, health, and magicka, and that'll be really relevant for this fight. The other thing I'm going to do while my character warms up is go over to this end table and ditch all of the weapons and equipment that I'm not going to need for this upcoming fight. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I don't think I need any of these things. Yeah, I don't really need any of these. The reason I'm going to do that is because if I have too much carry weight on my character, it affects our stamina regeneration and how much stamina it costs to do things. So as much weight as I can ditch off my character, the better. Okay, my character's warm now, so she's back up to +10 for all of her stats. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sneak closer to this door here and get ready to breach this room. There is a bandit mage in here, which is a little scary, but the good news is my steel battle axe should be able to kill this guy in 1 hit. And if not 1 hit, then definitely 2 hits. Honestly, this is where I kind of wish I'd left that poison. I really feel like there's at least 3 people in here. Like, there's supposed to be 2, but I feel like I hear 3. Ugh, and our apple cabbage stew is worn off. This is going to be a really rough fight. Okay, so we're going to run in here, kill the mage, and then see what the enemies are and hopefully get out of this room as quickly as possible. Okay, let's enter on 3. 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go! Okay, so just 1 mage. Killed him in 1 hit. Oh, and we got the hit on this guy before he was able to draw his axe. That's really positive. Before his friend comes upstairs, I'm going to grab those scrolls as well, just in case we end up needing these in the fight. I think it's really unlikely. Like, I think we're going to be fine. Especially if this dude's an idiot and super overextends like that. Because that guy overextended, he just ate a full power attack to his back. Gotta be a little careful here, because this guy could still come back and flank us. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go downstairs. Ooh, that guy overextended again. So this guy's running away, so let's finish him off. So we got the power attack as he was running away. Now let's finish off this guy that fled, and then we'll have cleared out the prison. You gotta be a little careful when these guys flee, because sometimes they'll like drink alcohol and then like get a whole bunch of liquid courage and then like attack us from out of nowhere. I don't know where this guy is. I swear I wish I had a crossbow. Let's see him here. There's a nice little dwarven shield here, but realistically our character's not going to use that with our 2-handed proficiency. Okay, I don't see this guy around here. I think he probably ran downstairs. Unless he's like hiding in this corner. Alright, let's keep working through here and execute this last straggler before we move on. So here's where this guy is, right here. Oh my god, I have like no stamina though, so I can't catch this guy. Ah, this guy stepped on a trap! No falling back for you, my friend. No mercy either. That's really funny that he ran into his own trap. Okay, really clean, clear right there. Didn't use any resources, and let's grab some of these alchemy ingredients in these barrels. Let's also grab these ruined books. This is kind of a nice little Wildlander trick. If you have ruined books in your inventory, you can open the breakdown menu, which is next to the craft menu. It's the question mark key on your keyboard. And then you can break down your ruined books into paper. And paper has a really great value of 20 gold, which amounts to 2,000 gold per pound of paper, which is really, really good. Character's also thirsty, so I'll give her a little water and some food. And then also deeper inside of this area, and honestly I should probably save here because we've had a really clean clear of Fort Neugrad and I'm feeling really good so far. I kind of don't want any crashes to occur. We can swim over here and there's a depth level chest that we can quickly pick. Oh shoot, you know why I can't pick it? Because I'm an idiot and I fucking took all my lock picks out. I was too overzealous with ditching all of my equipment, so I left the lockpicks upstairs. That's really annoying. Ugh, it's a really dumb mistake. That's so dumb that I'm not even gonna double back to do it. It's just like it's a huge waste of time. Let's see if we can pick this chest with just one lockpick. Yay, we got it with just one. Ooh, nice little assortment of items there. Those will sell for a decent amount of money. Oh my god, I can't like click on that coin purse. Okay, so we're done kind of looting the Fort Neugrad prison. I'll grab this dwarven shield too. Like I said, we're not going to use it, but it's definitely worth money and we'll sell it when we get back to town. Pretty clean clear of the Fort Neugrad prison. I'm feeling pretty good right now. This is a fantastic armor item that we got here. Okay, so I want to compare the difference between the armor that this guy has and the armor that we currently have. So we are currently using a iron makeshift cuirass, which has shitty armor rating and then also has no base damage resistances. This guy though has a steel furred cuirass. So if we put that on, not only does it have like 100 more armor, but more importantly, this has two really important damage resistances. It has rank 5 ranged resistance and rank 3 slash resistance, which means that we get additional armor rating against ranged attacks and slashing attacks. So that's a fantastic early game pickup. That'll really increase our character's survivability. And then what we'll do is we'll ditch some of this like crappy iron gear on him and swap out for his better steel gear. Okay, that's a really great upgrade. I kind of hate how this helmet looks. Like I really don't like the horned helmets, but the armor rating is too good to pass up. And then we'll also grab everything that we had stored in there as well. And then we'll check out this treasure chest. Looks like it's just some gold. We'll loot all these ruined books and break those down into paper. I think we're pretty good in here. Yeah, nothing of value on that guy. Okay, our character is still warm. We're slightly tired, but it doesn't really affect anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head out of the Fort Neugrad prison, and we're actually going to try to assault the Fort Neugrad keep. The reason we're able to try this assault is because we still have Ancestor Guardian. We have a healing potion that we can still use, and we have a bunch of spell scrolls. So this is still a little bit risky, but I think we can swing it. God, I don't know. This is really risky. The problem is we don't really have any stamina soup. Like that's the major barrier to us doing this successfully. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We are going to try this, but if we need to run away, we can always run away using Ancestor Guardian. Let's just ditch everything in this box that we're not going to use. I really wish I had the ability to make some potions here. Like, I guess I could double back to Southfringe Sanctum to do that, but I feel like that's a huge detour. I don't really want to. Alright, so we've ditched everything here that has a lot of carry weights, and we're kind of down to like bare minimum weight. So that'll help with our stamina management. Now let's break into the Fort Neugrad keep. And let's kind of like listen at the door here once we get inside and see like what enemies are inside and if this is going to be a safe thing to assault. Okay, so we hear one enemy over there. There's someone right on the other side of this door. And then I think there's someone right on the other side of this door as well. So there's two people right on the other side of these doors. Then I heard someone else in the distance. We're looking at sort of a minimum of 4 enemies here. Plus I know there's a boss who sleeps in the captain's bedroom. I think we're gonna kill this guy first because he seems like he's really close to this door. Alright, so let's get our armor on. We do have backup skooma just in case, which would solve our stamina problems. And Dunmer have a really cool combo of using skooma in tandem with Ancestor Guardian, which just makes you like an immortal skooma addicted killing machine. It's really kind of fun. Okay, so we're gonna break through this door. We're gonna kill this guy who's right by the door, and then I think there's someone else right over here. We're gonna try to kill them too. And then we're gonna reset the fight and just kind of like, we might stay in this room, but we might move to another room. We'll kind of see how it goes. Okay, here we go. Oh geez, this guy was a lot further away than I thought. So we killed that guy. This guy's got a crossbow. Dodge the bolt. Kill this guy. Okay, so 2 guys are dead there. We can't stay. Oh shit, there's someone flanking us. Oh hell. So that guy's dead. Oh fuck, 2 people are here. Run away! Oh shit, I got shot by a crossbow in the back. Oh my god. Okay, okay. What do we do here? I don't know what we're gonna do here. We might need to use Ancestor Guardian. This is kind of a bad situation. Alright, come on, lady. Come on, let's fucking go. That was a good overextension right there. Now we're able to kill her. Got the bash, got the hit. Okay. A little scary, a little scary. If someone else comes through that door, I'm probably gonna have to use Ancestor Guardian. For some reason, this lady has decided she can't reach me here, so I'm just gonna smack her shield until she falls over. I'm totally fine with this. I have no problem with this strategy. Oh my god, this lady is just not fucking dying. In fairness, this is definitely a really cheesy tactic. I can't believe that worked. Okay, so let's go back to sneaking. We're doing okay as far as stamina goes here. We did manage to kill those first few people. I feel a lot less bad. Oh wow, that was actually the bandit leader. Like she has the Fort Neugrad library key. So that was the leader of the whole group right there. I feel less bad about jumping on this table to kill this lady, given that we like did a pretty good job of dispatching all those other people with a little bit more tactics. Alright, let's close this door and just reset for a second. I would really like my health and stamina to recuperate. Our stamina is still really low, so we're just gonna wait here for a second. Whew, that was kind of a scary fight. So just as a quick recap while we get the stamina back. So we went through, we killed this guy on the right pretty quickly. We dodged the crossbow bolt from the guy who stood up from the table, killed him. But then I think someone else might have shot us with a crossbow, so we broke to the left. But then once we got in that room, we saw there were 2 people ahead of us, and that was really scary. And there was someone who was coming from behind, but we were able to kill that guy who came from behind, and then we reset in here. Then those 2 that were over there chased us. So kind of a crazy sequence of events right there, but we did manage to survive, so that's kind of what matters. It sounds like there's 2 archers that are still up there. Like I hear an Argonian voice and like maybe a Khajiit voice, but I'm not leaving this area until after my stamina's at full, because the first thing we're gonna have to do is sprint from this doorway over there to get to some cover. Like we can't stay out in this main area, or these crossbowmen are gonna kill us. Okay, I think we're pretty good on stamina. Yeah, we're basically at full. Okay, so let's get ready, get set, and go. Run away! Okay, so we made it. Alright, so now let's go back to sneaking. We'll kind of sneak forward a bit. I like that when you sneak, bandits sometimes kind of like lose track of your positioning. This guy might not have lost track of our positioning though. Like he just might be like right around the corner. I'm gonna listen for footfall. So I don't think he's over there. God, I kind of wish I'd grabbed the crossbow from that lady. Like I could clear this a little bit more effectively. Let's take a look here. Okay, so that door is open, so we have to be a little careful here.
Time for you to die.
Ooh, so that guy's like right there. So here's the plan. We're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're gonna peek around the corner. He's gonna shoot his crossbow bolt, and then we're gonna close the gap and kill him. There's the bolt. Oh, he's got rapid reload. Holy shit, that's scary.
Healed, and I no more.
Okay, so we beheaded that guy right there. Let's just back off for a second and just reassess things. That guy had rapid reload, so he was going to reload by the time that we closed the gap on him, but we managed to dodge the second crossbow bolt, or like kind of step offline. And now we're just going to replenish a little bit of stamina before we deal with this last guy, who is definitely a Khajiit. We can hear it. So I see the Khajiit over there. Ooh, this guy's got a stamina potion. That's fantastic. I'm going to hotkey the stamina potion just in case we get caught out in the open and need stamina. Sneak a little bit closer. Still no Khajiit. So there's the Khajiit. We'll do the same thing. Arrow. Close the gap. Get the knockdown, and then finish him off with the axe. Let's make sure there's no one else in here. Oh fuck, there's 2 more people in here. Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's kill that guy. I don't know who this other person is. It sounds like it's a mage, because I just heard someone charging a spell. Oh my god, it sounds like a fireball or some shit. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna run over here. See if we can bait this person into casting their spell. I see this guy up there with his fire magic. Yeah, you can like see him at the top of the stairs there. Whew, this is really scary. This is a really scary dungeon. This is why you don't do this at level 1. Let's make sure this guy's not gonna... Okay, so the door is closed, so I feel comfortable leveling up in the middle of this battle to grab a little bit of extra health. The other thing I'm gonna grab is I'm gonna grab Barbaric Might. Just so that way... Oh shit, is he coming? Oh, fuck, he is coming. Okay, that was really scary. So what happened there is I sort of knew this guy was coming. I heard his footfall. I heard him coming towards me. But I also knew that because I'm a Dunmer, I have 65% fire resistance, and we already saw this guy had fire magic. So I just made a calculated risk that I was just going to wait for this guy to come around the corner and then just power attack him as he rounded the bend. He did back up away from me, but I also did not do a standing power attack, because if I had done a standing power attack, this guy would have gotten another few blasts at us. I actually moved forward and chased after him with the power attack, so I was able to kill him. Oh god, this is a really scary dude. I am really glad that we set up on this guy and ambushed him properly. That could have been a real disaster. Okay, there's one more guy left in this entire dungeon, and then we'll save and revel in the victory. There's a guy who's in this library here.
You ready to die today, huh?
I think he's like right on the other side of this door. He grabbed a dagger. This dude's like very clearly a mage too. Like, let's see this guy, Brandish. Oh my god, Brandish actually doesn't have any spells. Haha, poor Brandish, he has no magic. Alright, buddy, he's like a fake mage, just wandering around in mage robes, but doesn't have any magic. Okay, that was a really crazy fight. Let's definitely save our game here. That was a well-earned victory. That's fun. I like early level Wildlander. Kind of a good example of how, like, with some good mobility and, like, being able to position yourself well, you can kill lots of enemies, even at lower levels. I'm not, like, a huge fan of the tactic that we used over here, where we, like, ended up on top of this, this little thing here, and, like, this lady with the shield couldn't reach us. This lady with the dagger was still trying to get around us. She was a little bit smarter, but we were able to kind of fight and kill her right here. And then I just got really worried about stamina, so I'm like, alright, fuck it. We're just gonna, like, smack this lady to death here with the axe, and, like, if she wants to stand there, that's up to her. So overall, definitely a very hectic and crazy fight, but totally worth it. We got a lot of great loot as a result of this. Let's drink our cabbage soup and our vegetable soup and just kind of like start regaining a little bit of stamina. So for Fort Neugrad, as far as loot goes, one of my favorite pieces of loot here is you can grab this beef stew. It's one of the few places you can just grab beef stew lying around in the game. And I'll also grab the apple pie as well. Let's check out these guys, because there were a lot of guys that we killed over here that... Oh, this guy's got steel plate boots. That's a nice upgrade to our current boots. Steel furred cuirass is also plate armor, so having like matching plate armor is always really fun. Then there was this crossbowman guy who was over here. That was the second guy that we killed, and it doesn't look like he has anything super great. And then this was the guy that we killed that kind of followed us through the door. And then we killed him and had to run out of here because we were getting pursued by the two people that were over on this side. Honestly, that was one of the scariest parts of this fight, was just like running from the crossbowman after getting shot and then like ending up in here. And then this Argonian could have been a real problem because he had the rapid reload perk, which was allowing him to reload his crossbow faster than we could close the distance on him. But we navigated that pretty well. Like, after we identified that he had the rapid reload perk, we like stayed committed, but just like kind of cut around him a little bit to not get shot in the face. Nothing super fantastic in this chest, but like we'll definitely grab a few of these items to sell later on. We'll also pick up these hawk feathers, like good alchemy ingredients and stuff like that. It was also really scary, like coming around the corner here and opening this door and seeing not just this one dude with the hammer, but also his buddy getting out of bed. I'm really glad that I killed this guy quickly, because if I had missed the bash on this and not killed this guy quickly enough, this mage, which was the dude that blasted us with the fire bolts, he would have been able to kill us like right through this doorway. So kind of a good reminder that like sometimes if you're fighting enemies like right after you've cleared a room, you have to kill one of them very quickly to reposition, otherwise the reinforcements will get you. Okay, last kind of items here, at least on the upper levels of Fort Neugrad, is we're gonna head up here. If I wanted to, I could like get my weapon tempered, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I don't actually want to use the battle axe for very long. I definitely prefer great swords, but it made sense for this very initial fight. Like, it was better than the iron greatsword that we had. Okay, so let's pick this chest on top of the keep. And then inside of this chest is a treasure map that will lead us to a treasure that's behind Fort Neugrad. All of this is to say that I really love the Helgen border crossing start because of all the like crazy loot you can get as a result of this. And like we just turned level 2. We already have some plate armor. We don't have great weapons, unfortunately, but like, we still have a ton of stuff that we can sell when we get to town. This room back here has like, I don't know, probably like 40 ruined books or something, plus some random alchemy ingredients. I'm not going to spend too much time just like grabbing all of these ruined books. Like, that's boring. No one wants to watch that. This is already definitely a longer episode. I'll just grab a few and head out of here. We're going to be totally fine on money once we get back to town. But that is it for Fort Neugrad. Really fun fight. I recommend, if you're trying to push yourself at early levels, doing this as early as possible, so that way you can kind of get a sense for how to play your character and like maximize your advantages. I don't love that there's a blizzard going on outside right now, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back inside Fort Neugrad, and we're going to have our character rest for the evening. And the reason for that is because if it's late outside, it's like, what time is it in game? It's like 1 in the morning in game. You can see it in the lower left-hand corner. Plus a blizzard. That's just going to create a lot of problems for when we're traveling. Like, our character's going to freeze to death before she reaches Helgen. So what I will do, though, before I get my character to sleep, is I'm just going to ditch some of the like less valuable items in my inventory into this barrel. The way I do that is I sort by value per weight. And then anything that's like under 20 value per weight, I automatically ditch. And then I just kind of work my way up from there. So we'll probably end up ditching a lot of this like leather equipment. I'll ditch one of those cloaks and I'll probably use the other one. Okay, Sounds good. My character, I think what I'll probably do too is, because I have these fur plates, and I know that there's some bad guys that are around here with fur armor, like this lady right here. I'm gonna break down her fur armor into fur plates, then I'm gonna create some hide laces, then I'm just gonna make a quick bedroll. And then I'll just ditch the excess on her. So now my character has a bedroll, which you can see on her backpack. And then I'll just set up a little camp by the fire for the evening, and then I'll have my character get some rest. Honestly, it's probably a good pausing point for the first episode, and definitely like a very satisfying end point for our initial foray into Wildlander. So I'm gonna have my character rest, and she'll sleep and spend the night, and then tomorrow morning we'll head out. And then what we'll do tomorrow is after leaving Fort Neugrad, we'll come over towards the road that leads towards Helgen, but before we go to Helgen, we're going to make a pit stop over here at the Storm Cloak outpost that's on the border. Then we'll go to Helgen. We'll do some stuff around here. There's like a bandit camp that we'll clear out, and then we'll probably clear out Embershard Mine as well. And then after Embershard, we'll end next episode in Riverwood. So far, kind of still following the same route that I tend to take for all of my two-handed heavy armor starts when I start at the Helgen border. But it was fun that we got to clear out Fort Neugrad today. That's not something we're always able to do at level 1, but we got a little bit lucky with the bandit mages not having any super scary scrolls. So I hope everyone enjoyed the episode, and I hope everyone enjoys this kind of longer form style of episode where it's like not just, you know, permadeath, no HUD, unpaused menu combat, but we're also getting to see the downtime and logistics in between combat as well. I kind of envision that as a theme of this run. So thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any feedback, let me know below or on Discord, and then I'll catch y'all next time for our next episode. Thank you for watching again. Bye everybody.